Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here, talking Fire Fist in this video. And if you've been with me for at least a little while on this channel, you know that a couple of months ago I made a video giving the eulogy for Fire Fist. I mean, I basically pronounced the archetype dead, and while I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, I've been mostly right. I mean, I haven't really seen Fire Fist doing much on the competitive meta. However, for anybody who loves the archetype, any fans out there of Fire Fist, I have some good news, and that is the spirit of Fire Fist lives on 100%, no pun intended. And the first time I really heard about this, it was through Robbie, MCO40. And what I'm talking about, if you're unfamiliar, is what I have dubbed the fire engine. You guys, if you've been watching my D and commentary, you probably heard me, use that term. That's 100% pun intended, by the way. And it's basically a 5 to 6 card engine that people have started splashing into artifact trap tricks in place of the hands, thus changing the deck from hat to fat. Now, the concept of the deck at its core remains the same. All of my monsters blow your monsters the fuck up. But what I like is the deck becomes much less graveyard reliant. Like, we all know that a 2200 Abyss Dweller can basically be the death of hat. I mean, it stops the hands, it stops your artifacts when they hit the graveyard, it's bigger than Murtec, so even if you have that on board, you can't run it over. I mean, it's just a fucking problem generally for the deck. Well, not if you run the fire engine, because then you can just go Tinky, get Bear, pop, keep it moving. And there's also those pain in the ass cards, the ones that are heavily sided against hat, things like Skullmeister, Debunk, Soldiering. Yet none of those cards do anything to Bear or Wolfbark, who's basically a Fire Fist at this point. I mean, I consider him like Bear's cousin. And you really don't lose much. In fact, I would say that obscure cards like Pot of Dichotomy are just as easily playable if you take out the hands and replace them with the fire engine. And cards like Pot of Duality arguably get better. Not to mention, your Exceed pool gets significantly more powerful. I mean, not only do you get to make King Tiger, who can just turn off effects like a light switch, but take it from me, a Bujin player, you get to make Kagasuchi. That card is the real fucking deal. If you play a mirror match, it's pretty much GG, because you have to kill the motherfucker 3 times. Sorry, but after killing my card 3 times, you're probably out of resources. Now, I'm not saying that the hands are bad by any stretch of the imagination. I still think that hat is a very good deck. I'm just giving you guys an alternative route to take. And I feel like, not to be biased or anything, I just feel like the only major advantage that hands have against the fire engine is that you can set them, and if they're pop, they can potentially trigger. But I'm going to be real here. Ice Hand, I mean, this card is starting to become less reliable than it once was, because you look at the format, right? And it's like all of these decks are just popping up out of nowhere, Mythic Rulers and Sylvans and especially Lightsworn that don't always run back row, you know what I mean? Like, against, like, Sylvans, the only card that you're pretty much going to see with them on board all game is Mount Sylvania. And if they don't have that out there, Ice Hand's pretty much just a sitting duck, and it's becoming just less reliable of a card. So again, this is just food for thought. Even though it's technically only 2 monsters and then, a couple of copies of Tinky with an optional, Fire Fist Gorilla in the side deck maybe, I just feel like, it's definitely something that warrants some notoriety, because we did see one of these top 16 ARG Ohio, and one of these versions top 16, or excuse me, made top 8 at Euro. So, I mean, the deck obviously is doing its thing. So let me know what you guys think. Not going to give away my entire Friday video for my predictions for Nationals, but I will say this. I do think that hat is going to top 8 Nationals, and I think it's going to be fat. I think it's going to be the fire engine version, because just think it's a little less susceptible to, like, graveyard hate cards. Thank you guys for watching as always. Subscribing makes life happy.